ask you something. If your favorite character had a playlist of songs that they would listen to on their off time, what do you think they'd listen to? Would Shadow prefer Linkin Park or Selena Carpenter? Would Iron Man listen to Iron Man? Would Mace Windu listen to Second Chance by Shinedown and also have Rap Stitches Knishes by MF Doom in that same playlist? If you're Disney Star Wars, then you're going to answer the last one with yes. The kind of music that a character listens to can give good insight into how they think, and it's a good way to better resonate and to relate to your favorite fictional fixations. If they're done well. Official Star Wars character playlists. With the release of Force Awakens, Disney wanted to hype up audiences by making playlists for different characters and what they'd listen to. You would get characters from the 3 different trilogies with people such as Kylo Ren, Darth Vader, Darth Maul, Padme, Lando, etc. Each playlist would include a bunch of licensed music that you could just find right on Spotify. Usually it's in a genre of music that you could just kind of group with a character. So Darth Vader would have a more older classic kind of metal, whereas Kylo Ren would have a more modern metal rock kind of music. And Palpatine has dubstep. Yes, I'm actually serious, but I'll talk about that in a minute. They would only update these playlists about 2 more times, making playlists for the Rogues One cast and for updating the playlist covers for Han Solo and Lando for the Han Solo movie. There is a big catch though. Not all of the playlists make sense, and they have missed out on a lot of big characters. Like I said before, Palpatine's playlist is just filled with dubstep. No playlist for General Grievous, Jar Jar Binks, Jango Fett, and let me tell you, Anakin's playlist is one of the big issues for me. Story time. I was drawing this nice piece of Anakin Darth Vader for May the 4th Be With You, or Star Wars Day, and also for the Revenge of Sith's 20th anniversary. I mean, also this art also works for Revenge of 5th, but that's besides the point. Actually, I'm curious, do y'all prefer Revenge of the 5th or Revenge of the 6th? Anyways, as I was drawing this piece, I wanted to listen to Anakin's music, or music that reminds me of Anakin, to kind of get me in the spirit of drawing him, get me in his mindset, get me in the mood to kind of like really lock in on the art. So, I would go on to his playlist, made by Disney, made by Star Wars, you know, it has like the little like cool lightsaber hilt every time you like play off of that playlist, right? I would go on to his playlist, and on the 3rd song, I heard Immortals by Fall Out Boy. And that just got me inspired to make this video, because let me tell you, dude, Lord Vader or Anakin, regardless of how he feels right now at that moment, is not listening to Immortals. Okay, so if it's not clear by now, Anakin is my favorite Star Wars character. Him and Lord Vader make the franchise for me. So seeing a playlist that just feels all over the place just got me thinking what they should have done for a proper playlist. So stay towards the end for the true Anakin Skywalker playlist. Trust me, it's pretty cool. All the Star Wars character playlists roughly average around between 50 to 60 songs, each of them being confined to a genre or two of music. Anakin's playlist seems to be comprised of pop-punk songs, if I'm getting the genre's name right, which I could maybe see that working with him. Anakin is a very popular man. He's a Jedi celebrity who's a decorated war hero, while also being a young adult in like kind of that angsty 2000s time, you know what I mean? And, you know, yeah, he still has that angst inside of his heart that he's always had since he was a young boy. Problem is that I feel like it really doesn't dive into the angst that Anakin would have wrapped inside of his confused, conflicted emotional heart. That, and I have doubts that there was much thought put into the creation of this playlist. It's harsh to say, but when you include A New Hope by Blink-182, a song about someone lusting after Princess Leia, which seems, you know, at best case scenario, seems strange for Anakin, her father, to listen to, you know what I mean? That being said, there's a lot of songs in his playlist that I feel do work for Anakin. The first song, What's My Age Again by Blink-182, actually works really well considering that Anakin's whole first issue into becoming a Jedi was that he first started way older than he was supposed to, thusly leading to the Jedi Order always feeling weird about him, as he was always had so much emotion in his heart because he just didn't get that trained out of him, when he was a youngling. And no one properly being able to talk to him about it since Qui-Gon Jinn is dead and gone. So, a song about being way too old for things makes perfect sense as an opener. The Atari's cover of The Boys of Summer works great too, as Anakin feels like he's the kind of guy that would jam out to love songs of really any kind, positive or negative, just since he has such strong feelings for Padme. And of course, just the high energy that cover provides just feels something he absolutely would gravitate towards. He is not someone that would really be on a lower scale of energy. No, he needs like that blood rushing type of song, you know what I mean? My favorite song for Anakin in this whole official Disney playlist has to be Monsters from Matchbook Romance. Partly due to me just actually loving this song myself, but also because Monsters either being a love song, or about Hollywood, or about being a monster, the entire feeling of the song, the lyrics, and any of the meanings for the song works well for someone who is a very, very famous Jedi who loves a politician so much that he's willing to succumb to the temptations of the Sith. And welcome to the majority of this video. So, this playlist is pretty much an entire makeover, because the idea of Anakin Skywalker, a character known for going towards the dark side and then finally getting redeemed towards the end of his life, only listening to pop punk, or just one music genre in general, feels incredibly reductive to his character. I mean, the picture Disney uses for Anakin's playlist is when he's on Mustafar saying, "You turned her against me!" And you're telling me, to my face, that Anakin is on Mustafar, hate flowing through him, his eyes all sithed out while he's slaughtering defenseless separatist politicians, is listening to Centuries by Fall Out Boy. Instead, what I ended up doing was creating a playlist that encapsulates the entire emotional journey that Anakin goes through, and I'm here to give you a tour through it all. What's My Age Again by Blink-182, I had already talked about, going over Anakin being too old to be in the Jedi Academy, thusly earning the suspicion of the Jedi Order. The Cool Kids cover by Fight the Fade is just an extension of the first song. Him really wanting to join the Academy, him really wanting to become a Jedi, but the Jedi Order is so against it because he's so old, Princess of the Night by Saxon is all about his love for flying, tinkering with machines, and pod racing. His passion for machines has always been well known, along with his incredible piloting skills, so it had to be included somewhere in this playlist, you know what I mean? Now, I know Princess of the Night, and later down the line you're gonna see Rainbow in the Dark by Dio, seem like they stand out like a sore thumb. And they do, but I will explain why they're in this playlist, and it's a very good reason. I'll explain it later. You just gotta keep listening. The Boys of Summer by the Ataris is the start of Padawan Anakin. Basically, his whole life between the end of Episode 1 and the start of Episode 2. Episode 1 doesn't get as much music because, for reaching around 58 songs, I figured other parts of his life needed more songs into it. And besides, this one song I feel really covers that kind of 10-year gap he went from Episode 1 to, when he's 19 in Episode 2 and he's, still in the Padawan phase. Now, this song was initially in the Disney Anakin playlist, and I felt it really worked perfectly for this era, since he's remembering about Padme despite not seeing her for 10 years, since forever ago, which leads us into 3 songs that we're about to cover here. Those 3 songs being Roulette by System of a Down, Dirty Little Secret by All American Rejects, and Your Guardian Angel by the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. These 3 songs go over the complicated feelings and his complex thinking and just mulling over the idea towards accepting his love for Padme and then confessing it, and soon having his love being reciprocated by Padme. He feels so conflicted to love since he's a Jedi, but his love is so strong that he is fine with keeping his secret with Padme and his time on Naboo. From Rainbow in the Dark from Dio through To Be Somebody by 1000 Foot Crutch basically goes over Anakin's general frustration of him being a strong Jedi Padawan, but yet, still being a Padawan because of his youth, and, it's gotten him all excited for more and more, an obsession to grow and win and have victory. More specifically, however, Rainbow in the Dark by Dio and Move Along by All American Rejects is about Anakin coming to terms with the loss of his mother. Feels so powerless to do anything about saving his mom, despite being the chosen one. Now, the reason why Princess of the Night and Rainbow in the Dark were chosen to be in this playlist is because, well, they're both in Disney's Darth Vader playlist. The idea is to kind of echo and foreshadow how Anakin will end up in the future. I mean, I figured that Anakin and Vader would need some songs connecting the two of them, which, shockingly, or I guess rather unsurprisingly, depending on how you view Disney, there is not a single song that Anakin and Darth Vader share, which you could argue, oh, we're the different characters. Okay, they could still share music. I mean, Darth Vader and First Order Stormtroopers share a song together. Why doesn't Anakin and Darth Vader do that? I'm Just a Kid by Simple Plan and Be Somebody by 1,000 Foot Crutch ends the Attack of the Clones, as he's preparing to go into war despite his young age, and also experiencing pure defeat by the hands of Dooku, actually losing his arm. It kind of just encapsulates that feels so young, yet he's frustrated. He's like, he wasn't prepared to go into war, just, because he wanted to be a Jedi. He didn't think this was all going to happen, but hey, turns out he's going to be really good at it. Because right after Be Somebody, we get into The Antidote by Story of the Year. The Antidote by Story of the Year being the first proper song in the Clone Wars. For the entirety of the Clone Wars, I figured I'd just choose songs that, let's be real here, that you'd listen to while playing either Battlefront or Halo. Something that you'd see in a Halo AMV, basically. Not too much thought put into it. I just really thought it'd be fitting if it had something that would have a lot of hype into it. Really kind of get you going into the battle. So, from The Antidote to Smooth Criminal by Alien Ant Farm is all the songs that I say represents the entirety of the Clone Wars. Now, 2 notes about this section. Blow Me Away from Breaking Benjamin seems like a song that you'd see in any of the Star Wars playlists, but it just isn't, which is odd considering that I feel really represents the Clone Wars, especially the clones and Anakin, I mean, the way I first found out about this song was from an AMV of the 2003 Clone Wars series, with all the clones doing all these cool actions, Now, the other big note that I'd like to mention is that the fact that the official Anakin playlist doesn't have Smooth Criminal by Alien Ant Farm. And that may be strange for me to mention that, but trust me, it feels, well, lack of a better word, criminal. Because Hayden Christensen would actually listen to that exact song to get himself hyped up for acting in scenes of Revenge of the Sith. So, it's partly why I felt like not much research was done into making the official Disney playlist, because, well, I don't know why they didn't ask Hayden Christensen to give some input since he acted him, and obviously would listen to Smooth Criminal since he mentioned it in panels and conventions. That's also partly why I have Smooth Criminal specifically to bookend the Clone Wars era. But also to make sure that the playlist as a whole would make sure that your blood is rushing from the hype, as I'm certain that's what Anakin would prefer to listen to in general, you know what I mean? That or some somber, proper brooding music. Now, I'm of course always down to add more songs considering just how long the Clone Wars really is. I just wanted to have some restraint on my part, because I want the majority of the songs to be from this fall of Revenge of the Sith and his redemption towards Return of the Jedi. If y'all have any suggestions on what I should put here, let me know. I maybe thought about adding You're Going Down by Sick Puppies, but I wasn't too sure. I didn't feel like I was adding too much or anything like that. Okay, we're now in Revenge of the Sith, and trust me, this section has a lot to it when it comes to the songs I chose for it. So, we're going to be here for a while. If you're liking this video so far, it would really help me out if you end up subscribing, ringing the bell, ding 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 ding, or liking this video. Also, commenting helps out a lot since YouTube pushes out videos with interaction on it, especially comments. I also stream over at Twitch if you want to catch me over there. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. You know, I'm always there. Alright, now let's actually get into Revenge of the Sith. Smooth Criminal by Alien Ant Farm bleeds into Kryptonite by Three Doors Down as the star of the movie, where he goes on his mission with Obi-Wan to the Invisible Hand, you know, to rescue the Chancellor and fight General Grievous. And then, he later hears about his wife Padme is pregnant. He's gonna have children. Life is pretty good for him. For a short while, anyway. Until... boom! He gets a haunting vision in his dreams. And Inner Vision by System of a Down. This starts Anakin's descent to the dark side and his worry for Padme's well-being and her future, worrying that she's going to die. His declaration to protect Padme during these trying times comes through in Not Gonna Die by Skillet. Just then, Anakin has been told by Chancellor Palpatine that he's going to become a member of the Jedi Council, an incredible honor and a wonderful reward for his countless years of helping the Republic, for saving the Jedi, for being a war hero, you know, even going so far as to rescue Jedi Masters from peril, you know, such as Obi-Wan just a day or two ago. Alas, Mace Windu doesn't grant him the rank of Master, a seat of the Council, but not the rank of Master, thusly leading him to feel that, you know, the world is against Anakin. Me Against the World by Simple Plan, illustrating that specific feeling, which also leads into Chosen One by A2. I found it rather appropriate to give Anakin at least one or two songs from the Shadow the Hedgehog game OST for two reasons. One is that both Revenge of the Sith and Shadow the Hedgehog came out in the same year, 2005, so they both have similar influences for more darker themes and music and aesthetics. But the larger reason, and the second reason, being that Anakin and Shadow are a lot closer than you think. For starters, both of them being the Chosen One, the ultimate life form in their respective fields. Yet, they're both also manipulated into evil by someone they thought they could trust. You know, Palpatine, Black Doom, etc., etc. And also, the death of a loved one pushing them to do what they do. For Shadow, it's Maria. For Anakin, Padme, you know? The Chosen One by A2 shows Anakin's depressing frustration that despite being the Chosen One, the world doesn't make him feel that way. He knows he needs to do right, and that's his destiny, but no one makes him feel like he should. That, you know, he actually feels like the Chosen One. Now, right before Anakin dives into the dark side, though, there's one more song we must listen to, and it's actually a really important one. One of the most important songs in this playlist. Butterfly by KMac 2021. This song is so beautiful and actually perfectly encapsulates the feelings you feel when watching Anakin talk to Obi-Wan before Obi-Wan sets out for Utapau. Anakin is confessing his guilt for being so frustrated and shows his gratitude to Obi-Wan for teaching him so well. And Obi-Wan, right back at him, shows such immense love and gives Anakin his flowers for being such a good friend and a great and wonderful student. Though the scene itself is so happy and loving, knowing that this is truly the last time that these two share a happy moment with each other, you know, until they become Force ghosts, really adds a lot of pain to the scene. And that's why I chose Butterfly as a song. It's a song that sounds so dark and so depressing, so empty and hollow. But despite all of that, all of the lyrics are nothing but loving and positive, showing gratitude towards loved ones and friends. It's a perfect representation of Anakin's last showing of love towards his master, and how returning audiences always feel this way when seeing this particular scene, where it's nothing but love on the outside, but knowing what comes next, it hurts, it stings, it feels so heartbreaking to know what is going to lead next. From here, it's all downhill for Anakin as he's battling the demons in his head, dealing with the doubt in his head from the Jedi Order not making him a master, to him worrying about Padme, to him feeling dishonest about spying on the Chancellor, to him feeling like he could fix all of his problems because he's a chosen one and he doesn't want to rely on Obi-Wan. In Your Head from Cloudy Field to Animal Life Become by 3 Days Grace goes through the mental journey Anakin goes through from when Obi-Wan leaves to when Anakin goes to the Chancellor's office to defend him from Mace Windu. In Your Head and Time of Dying by 3 Days Grace goes over his still looming worries of Padme's death as he still gets visions. Never Even There by 32 Leaves up until Monster by Skillet goes through all of his feelings he feels from the opera scene with Palpatine to when he tells Mace Windu that Palpatine is a Sith Lord. All of these songs just going through being conflicted by the emotions in your heart. And if you're doing the right thing, if you know you're doing the right thing, and failing to understand no matter how much you try, all of these songs feel either dark or high energy, which is exactly how Anakin feels. All of them are just so conflicted. He just doesn't know how to feel. He's confused. Either should he do the right thing? Should he do the right thing for himself? Should he worry about the Jedi? Should he worry about Padme? Should he listen to Mace Windu? Should he listen to the Chancellor? All these songs feel so dark and confused, which perfectly encapsulates kind of the building, boiling up feeling that Anakin has. Change in the House of Flies by Deftones is one particular scene and one scene only. Anakin Skywalker is in the Jedi Council, waiting for Mace Windu and the other Jedi Masters to either arrest Palpatine or to kill him. He knows what he should do, but he's so caught up with worrying about Padme that he feels he should save Palpatine, despite never thinking about the fact that Palpatine brought up that he could save his wife, a detailed worry that Anakin never even brought up to Palpatine. But his mind is so clouded by worry and doubt that he cannot think well anymore, thus driving him downwards. Animal Life Become by 3 Days Grace comes after, as I feel like this song is more stereotypically used in more darker AMVs. Monster has a lighter tone, whereas Animal Life Become feels like you're truly succumbing to the darkness and you want to scream for help. You want to just shout and have someone, anyone to help you because you cannot pull yourself out of it. But sometimes you may not even accept that help. You can scream for it, but maybe you don't even want that help or you'll never accept it. And now, the dark side is now here, and Anakin has fell into it completely. What I've Done by Linkin Park follows this, which directly ties into Anakin saying, "What have I done?" to slice off Mace Windu's hand, betraying the Jedi and falling right into the Sith. Downfall by Trust Company and Evil Angel by Breaking Benjamin go over Anakin being inducted into the Sith by Darth Sidious, becoming Darth Vader, donning his classic and badass hood as he goes out to storm the Jedi Temple with his giant battalion of 501st Clone Troopers. He's fallen. The once angel of the Jedi, powerful Jedi that people look up to, including Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, and many others, has become, well, the evil angel. Beginning of the End by Spineshank, all the way to Bodies by Drowning Pool, goes over Anakin's whole emotional ride throughout the process of Order 66, diving himself down to becoming a Sith Lord, slaughtering Jedi Masters, Knights, Padawans, and of course, younglings. Fun story, when I went out to see Revenge of the Sith in theaters when it came back for its 20th anniversary, the audience I was with was so excited to be able to clap and quote the movie. You know, they were the type of people that would be like, "This is where the fun begins," and just like kind of quote all the like big stuff like, "Hello there." Now, both me and my friends were just laughing when it came to the youngling scene, because right after Darth Vader ignites his blue lightsaber, the audience roared and cheers and clapping. Very much like how people were going to cheer for Maria being shot in Sonic 3. By the way, it's quite a miracle that there's a song called Order 66 by Execution Day. So, I could add that song to the playlist. Is it on the nose? Sure, but you know that Darth Vader needed a song like this in his playlist, since he's kind of the face of Order 66, aside from the Clone Troopers. As you could probably tell by now, I've added a lot of 2000s angst into this playlist, as the official Anakin one has very little of that. Really, the only playlist that has any of that kind of 2000s angst is Mace Windu and Kylo Ren, but even then it's kind of a bit of a spattering, which, again, seems odd to just leave Anakin out of that, since he feels like the poster boy. Him and Shadow were like, the thing about that, aside, also that and Symbiote Spider-Man, but you get my point. We're now on Mustafar, The Hate in Me by Godhead and Atomic Revelations by Machine Head. Funny how that works out, right? Because they're both head. Go over how Darth Vader feels on Mustafar, slaughtering the defenseless separatist politicians, shutting down the battle droids, and having them stand there, crying after what he had done, knowing he has fallen so hard, just to help out Padme, and just to make the galaxy a better place. Or at least hope that's what he's going to do. Just Like You by 3 Days Grace and Faint by Linkin Park goes over his thoughts during the confrontation between him and with Obi-Wan and Padme. The whole conflict those three have, just right before Anakin and Obi-Wan begin to fight. Anakin, now fully a Sith Lord, but still feeling conflicted, feels like he's being pushed back by Padme and Obi-Wan. Duel of the Fates, Anakin vs. Obi-Wan, and Battle of the Heroes all going through the fateful battle, with This Fire Burns cover by LGND, Legend, bookending the burning hatred Darth Vader has during the whole battle. For Duel of the Fates specifically, I felt like I should go with a cover by Void Chapter, as I wanted a more fresh and metal-sounding rendition, considering Darth Vader would want something a lot more intense with his fight. That, and his battle is further into the future, so I felt like a cover would go nicely with it. This is it. Anakin has been burnt by lava, and he is now in the suit. He's now realized that he's lost everything. He has his empire now, but for what? He's lost Padme, the love of his life. He's lost the Jedi Order. He's lost his master, Obi-Wan. And he's lost his Padawan, Ahsoka, as well. And Anakin is effectively dead in his mind. He's trying to push along with being trapped inside a prison of his own making and of his own consequences. This is where you'd listen to the Darth Vader playlist, because once he has the suit, he does make damn sure you know that he is a different man. Although, Anakin never truly dies, no matter how much Darth Vader tells you that he's killed him. He still shines through in a couple of songs. Masterpiece by Motionless in White, going on to My Curse by Killswitch Engage, goes through how Anakin feels during the entirety of when he's been in that suit up until Return of the Jedi. Though Darth Vader feels completely different, the broken and depressed side of Anakin will listen to these songs of confliction, of knowing he's done so much wrong. He wishes Padme or Obi-Wan or Ahsoka could truly help him in his time of need, anyone to pull him out, despite it seeming completely impossible to face up to his actions. Now, Anakin slowly starts to resurface. Through the love of his children, the impossible actually happens. And that's brought out with the song Brightest Day by Set to Stun, showing that this whole descent to the dark side, it's revealed to happen just because he wanted to save Padme from childbirth. We all remember how it started, and guess what? He realizes that his children are alive. An extension of Padme and Anakin's will, Luke and Leia, are with him and are alive and well. Afterlife by Evanescence is a song that shows exactly how Anakin and Darth Vader feel on Death Star 2. They're together, they're one, knowing exactly what they need to do. Save Luke from his former master, killing Darth Sidious once and for all, and to end the Empire, and thusly end the Sith as we know it, fulfilling his role as a chosen one, setting true balance to the Force and destroying the Sith as it was foretold to happen. Rift, the acoustic version by Northlane, Madness by Sleeping with Sirens, and Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance are the end of Anakin's life. His journey is over. He defeated the Sith, the Jedi has returned, and Luke takes off his helmet so his father can look at him with his own eyes for once in his whole life. It's all over. Welcome to the Black Parade feels like a fitting conclusion to this whole playlist, as Anakin is having his life flash through his eyes, going through the feelings of wanting to become a Jedi, fighting the Clone Wars, becoming a Sith Lord, to ultimately doing what he was destined to do all of these years ago. The somber and tragic tale ends with a high energy, yet also has just as much somberness as it deserves. The tale of Anakin Skywalker is over. And that was the Fix Anakin Skywalker playlist. Now, I will confess that I went a little out of hand here, as I do really love Anakin. His character and his journey feel so human and real, and I can resonate with feeling conflicted with emotions, as so many others can definitely also feel. I will say right off the bat that if I'm going to be doing this for any of the other Star Wars characters, that I'm absolutely not going to go as hard as I did with Anakin. Not everyone goes through quite the intense journey that he does, and some of the characters we don't even know well enough to know exactly what they'd listen to in certain instances. So if I were to rework anyone else's playlists, or make playlists for characters who don't have them, I'm probably just gonna make a normal playlist, rather than a grand retelling of their life through music. I only felt like that'd be appropriate for Anakin, since, well, Star Wars wouldn't exist without Anakin. The entire franchise is about him and the galaxy he lives in. It's his story. That being said, if you all like this video and you want me to do more of these playlist videos, then let me know what I should go for next. Should I rework anyone else's playlists? Should I go for Darth Vader next, or Darth Maul? I mean, Maul's playlist is pretty empty considering a lot of the songs aren't accessible on Spotify as of the making of this video. Or should I make a playlist for someone that doesn't even have one? There is a lot of characters that don't have one, actually. General Grievous, Jango Fett, Jar Jar Binks, Cad Bane, Ahsoka, Asajj Ventress, Count Dooku, Jabba, Obi-Wan, kinda, since it only covers him when he's Ben Kenobi, Starkiller, etc., etc. Actually, not even the Stormtroopers for the Empire, or the Clone Troopers, or the Battle Droids, or the Rebel Alliance have playlists. The only army that has any playlist is the First Order Stormtroopers in particular. So, if you have any ideas, let me know down below. Otherwise, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you did, and comment down below what you thought. I hope you have a good Star Wars Day, or Revenge of the 5th, or Revenge of the 6th, or May the 4th be with you, or whatever day you're seeing this. I hope you have a damn good one, y'all. Revenge of the Sith is still a peak movie, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye. Oh, before I go, I hope you know that this video took up 7 pages of script writing and me drawing all these Jedi robes and rigging them to my model. So, I hope this video pops off like crazy. Cause that'll make all of this so worth it. Or, sorry, my bad, Roth it. Because, as I later discovered through recording this video, there have been so many typos and just nonsense throughout the script that I kind of had to improvise a good, like, 15% of it. So, yeah, hope this goes well.